Okay, I'm going to recap Fish Mexico. It was a 4-day concert experience. I was there for 5 nights, and I'm going to go through the whole experience, like what it was like in the hotel, the people, and then, of course, the music, the concerts, and all that jazz. All right, so first of all, I've never gone to this event before, but I'd heard about it. And I know that a lot of bands now do these like Mexico destination things where it's all in a resort and then they set up a concert there. And I was like, oh, that's cool because like Phish is the best band in the world that I discovered a year ago. But prior to going to Mexico, I had just hit my 16th show in 9 months. So I was like, well, might as well make it 20. So I decided to go. The cool thing is, as soon as I get to the airport in San Francisco, there was like the only direct flight is on United Airlines. Once in a while, there's an Alaska Airlines, but it's very rare, not daily. So I go onto this United Airlines. There's two flights a day, one at 11 p.m. and one in the morning. So I take the morning flight. And as soon as I get there, I realize that like half the plane is probably all going to Phish, which is like so interesting because I had never seen any of these people before, but they're obviously like Northern California people. If they're getting on the plane in San Francisco, I guess there could have been some people connecting from like Seattle or something, like Portland, whatever, because like that would be a good place to connect through. But generally, I'm like, huh, who are all these people? So I'm kind of just like getting a feel, and people are realizing that I am going as well. I wasn't wearing any like Phish merch or anything or Phish stuff. Like I even took off all my bracelets. This is just my lizards bracelet, but I had like a stack of other like related bracelets. So then some people did recognize me. So some guy came up to me and he's like, hi. And I was like, oh, hi, whatever. And he's like, we've DM'd before. I'm like, oh, nice, thanks, And I appreciate when you guys tell me that, like, especially like, oh, we DM'd on TikTok, or like, tell me where it was it Instagram, TikTok? Because then I can actually like remember your screen name maybe and be like, oh, yeah, okay. Because I have like over 6,600 followers on Instagram, almost 8,000 on TikTok, and now like 17,000 on YouTube. So when you add that all up, that's a lot of people. So someone's like, oh, we've like messaged before. I'm like, oh my God, it's like just a lot of people. So it helps me to kind of narrow down like when and what we talked about. Because then I can kind of maybe remember, or you can just show me this is my screen name and I'll be like, oh, okay, great. And usually if I meet someone in person, I will add them back. Like I will follow them back because it's kind of disproportionate. Like I only follow like 10% of the people who follow me. So like if I meet you though, I will follow you if you like become a real friend. All right, so I'm in the airport. I'm like chatting up people. I get on the plane. I meet this nice couple. They're like in their early 50s. And it turns out there's like a very large Marin County constituent. I don't know what that word. A group of people from Marin who are all going together, who are all friends, and they're all Phish fans together, basically. And they met through like their kids' school. And now I think what's interesting about this is like where I live on the peninsula south of San Francisco, I just haven't met like the Phish crowd yet. Like I'll go to certain shows and I'll see some of the same people, but I haven't yet found the Phish people. I feel like one, Phish is a very East Coast band. And I even think all the Marin people that I was met on the plane, that they were really transplants. Like very few of them were actually from the West Coast. They were mostly from the East Coast and they all ended up in Marin. I feel like Marin County is a very it's a place to end up if you were from New England. I feel like if you're from New England, you want to live in Marin County. I feel like if you're from Mid-Atlantic, DC, or maybe like New York City, then you want to live in either like San Francisco proper, or they tend to live more like by me, Palo Alto, Mountain View, because it's like tech centered. So I find that like different people from different places move to different parts of the peninsula. And so whatever reason, Marin is very East Coast to me, and it's very like New England. And Phish is a very New England band because of course they're called Phish from Vermont. Which is why if people are like, how did you never know Phish? It's like, well, I grew up in Redding, California. So they didn't exactly come through town. You know what I mean? Okay. So we land, and I've been to Cancun airport a number of times, so I was very familiar with it. So I knew exactly like, okay, these are the baggage claims. I sat next to this really nice couple. It was a multi-generational family. So basically the son, who's like around 40 something, he's the Phish fan, and his wife, she's like been accepting of it and gotten on board of it. And then her parents came, And so I was sitting next to the parents, like the grandparents, and then they brought their kids. One was like a teenager and one was like a tween. So like a teen boy and a tween girl. And they brought the whole family and made it a multi-generational trip. And these grandparents had like the best attitude. They were like, oh, we get to go to like a concert in Mexico with our grandkids and our kids, like for like 5 nights. That's so cool. And like, they're like, yeah, we don't really like Phish per se, but we like the idea that it's like a concert. They were just so happy and just like, so like, it was just like such a great perspective. So I sat next to them and they were really interesting. They kind of were lived in the East Bay, that's like by Berkeley and stuff like that. So that was like a really cool person to talk to. And then the granddaughter gave me a bracelet, and she actually gave me meat stick, which is cool because one, it was pink, and all my bracelets were pink. But two, because I love pink, But also meat stick ended up playing on the last night, and it's one of the songs I was chasing. So maybe it was an omen that of all the bracelets she gave me the meat stick bracelet. Okay, so then you get your bag, you walk through customs. I did not get stopped or anything. I felt easy as whatever. And then they give you instructions for like how to find the bus people. And they had this huge sign that was like Phish Riviera Maya, and they have uniforms and like, don't go with it, And then it's really organized. They're like, okay, go to the bus over here and then put your bag right here, and we're going to put it on the bus. And then I met some nice people on the bus. I sat next to this girl named Rachel, who was from Connecticut. And she met her Phish husband online like 5 years ago. And like, he was actually from California originally. It was just a really cute story. Like, they met in one of the Phish singles Facebook groups. And it was like a really cute story. And they were like so nice. I ran into them another day at the pool. So then I don't know, it was just kind of like nice to just see all the local people. Now, interestingly, you know how you said some people on the plane recognized me? So most people didn't recognize me, I'd say. And then the few who were like nice about it came up or like waved or whatever. And then there was like this woman who definitely recognized me, but was like angry about it. You know what I mean? Like, she kept like looking at me and giving me dirty looks. And it was like very clear. She was like, and she kind of like turned to her like partner. And then she had like, there was like 2 couples, and they were like, and if they're watching this, just know that I know, okay? Like, I'm not a human person, okay? So I can tell if you're going like this, and then like that you're being like, oh my God, that's that girl, Erica. That's that wannabe influencer girl. I saw her on Facebook. She's terrible, blah, 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 whatever. How about you just say hi and get to know me, okay? Because I'm not my online personality per se. Like, I'm actually really nice. And, you have to like kind of, to be an entertainer, a creator, you have to be creative, and you have to come up with all these weird little videos and stuff. But that's not necessarily reflective of how I'm going to be just in like a conversation at an airport, I'm just like, hey, what's up? We're just traveling together. Okay. So besides for that one girl giving me dirty looks, I don't really see her again, so I don't really care. But I was just like, okay, well, we live in the same area, and we probably are going to end up going to like all the same concerts. So maybe like don't be mean, because like I'm going to find you one day. Anyway, but yeah, I'm cool. Just like, I don't give girls dirty looks like ever. I'm just not like that. I'm just like, hi, I'm Erica. Like, nice to meet you. Okay. So finally we're at the pictures that I actually have. This is me on the bus headed to the resort. Okay. And then that's like what all the buses look like. And then this was like coming into the Moon Palace. It was already dark because it was like, we left at 9 a.m. from California. It takes 5 hours. So by the time we landed, it was like 4 o'clock. And then by the time we got to the resort, it was like 5:30. Sun's already going down. They have like everything Phish branded, like the whole lobby, whatever. Now the check-in process was like really easy. They have like so many people working, and the lines are really coordinated. It's like they drop you off, and then someone's like, oh, don't let them take your bags because they will take forever to deliver them to your room. And I was like, fine, then I'm just going to schlep my own bags, which was fine because it wasn't that bad. I had my friend to help me. And okay, so I get there, I check in, I meet my friend. And then that night there was like a welcome party. And so they had like, there's like a pool, but then all around the pool, they put little like buffets everywhere. And because it's all inclusive, there's like waiters coming around all the time. Like, do you want a drink? Do you want a drink? Like, and then the food, I thought the food was like, okay, like the food was not like amazing. But I think certain things were better than others. Like, for example, if you just went to the breakfast and you got like an omelet, the omelet was A class, like A plus, like amazing. If you tried to get something that was like Like it's Mexico. Like don't get sushi in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like I went to Japan and I live in the Bay Area where we have like the most amazing sushi. They fly it in from Japan. I just don't think a random resort that makes mass food on the East Coast is going to have amazing sushi, right? So don't get the sushi, but get the fajitas. The fajitas are very good because it's Mexico, okay? So if you get tacos and fajitas and steak, they're very good at like carne asada, grilled chicken. All that was really great. The salsas are really good. Like they have both, all the types of salsas, like the chopped kind, and then the green salsa verde, the red salsa, the spicy salsa, like all that is very good. The hamburgers were pretty solid. So yeah, anything that's like grill, very good. Anything that's like trying to be something else, not good. So it's just, yeah. Okay. The other thing is that there were so many things going on in the resort in general. Like there's yoga classes, there's dance classes, there's like, napkin folding, there's pickleball, you can golf, there's a whole golf course there. I was so like focused on, well, one, I'm on West Coast time. So there was like, oh, there's a morning meditation today on the beach. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like I was sleeping till like 10 every day because 10 is like 7. And I was like, okay, I want to stay on West Coast time because when the show is finished at 11:30, I don't want to be super tired. Yeah, so I kind of stayed on West Coast time, but I was not doing a ton of things. Like I just pretty much would wake up, either do room service for breakfast or go to the buffet, drink my coffee. Then I'd maybe go to the pool for a little bit. And then soon enough, it's like, well, it's my 2 o'clock nap time. I like to take my 2 o'clock nap. And then I'd be like getting ready for the shows because I was doing first entry. And for first entry, you had to get in line at like 4:30 or something, like every day. It was like 4:15, and then like by 5:15 you were lining up to go in with, and then you'd go in by 5:45, and then everyone else could go in starting at 6, and they didn't start playing till 8. So like 4 extra hours of my day were dedicated to waiting in line to try to get a good spot. But if I was someone who was just going to roll in at 7:55, I would have had like 4 more hours to like do stuff. Okay. So I think it really depends on like, what do you want this vacation to be? Like, what are you going for? Like, are you going to have a resort vacation and then also just happen to see Phish? Then you could do that, where like you kind of like hang out and do activities until 7:30 and then show up at the concert. I was like, no, I'm really just here to see Phish, and then everything else was subsequential. I used to go on a lot of cruises because my parents likes cruises. I don't like cruises personally, but like I grew up on cruises, so I know all about like the all-inclusive lifestyle. But yeah, I was like, yeah, the food's fine. Like it wasn't, it was fine. It's all inclusive though, so you can like get whatever you want. You kind of forget like, oh, I could just like order a ton of little tapas things and then like I don't have to eat it, you can just try it. So that's the thing, is there's all these like restaurants and stuff, but you can't really go because I had to be in line at 4 every day. So like, but if you were just going to walk into the venue at 8, you could go and like make dinner reservations at these various restaurants. There's also like 3 hotels within the resort. So like I was staying in the Sunrise, which is where the venue is. And I wanted that because I like just being close to I just want to be able to walk back to my room. People who are at the fancy hotel, that's called the Grand. Apparently it's a much more luxury experience. Apparently there's like kids water park and there's so many cool things and it's very luxury and maybe the food's a little better, but you're really far and they have to either like walk like 20, 30 minutes, or they take a golf cart. So like golf carts will drive you around everywhere there, but it's still an extra schlep, right? And they had like shuttles leaving the venue every night going back to the Grand. The Grand people also got their own like entrance to the venue. So it's like VIP. So basically, if they weren't going to do early entry, they could just get in the other line at 6 and it'd be much shorter than the general line and just kind of walk in. So that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know if I would go and stay at the Grand. I kind of want to try it just because everyone's like, oh, the Grand is so nice. It's a different world, whatever. But I also felt like it was harder to even interact with the Grand people because they were there all day at their own pool, right? And so, well, luckily I knew some of the people from the internet who were staying at the Grand, so I still got to hang out with them because they were doing first entry anyway. But I feel like if you're going to do first entry, you might as well just stay at the Sunrise because then you're much closer to your room. And you do get a wristband and then you leave and then you come back and then they announce the lottery of the wristband. Then you line up. There'd be extra time to like go back to your room if you were staying where the concert is. Okay. So it's very orderly. You get in line, they give you a wristband, 1 through whatever, 300, 400, however many people show up. Then they name a number, and then that becomes 1. So if they say number 1 is 120, then 120 becomes 1, and then it all relines up. And then after 400 goes back to 1, right? So the first night we got lucky, it was like 76, and I was like 125 or something, or 150, like something like that. So I was like number 75. So this is like what the pool was. Now, the weather was not that hot. So that was also one of the downsides, I'd say. I was hoping it was going to be like 85, and because I don't swim if it's under 80. I just don't. That's just not something I do. I don't get into cold water. I don't enjoy cold water. I will get into water if it's over 80 outside. And then the pool itself has to be like over 70. Okay. So that's just how I am. However, I don't mind lounging in a chair. However, I cover up with a rash guard as seen here because skin preservation. I wear hats and I wear rash guards and I put on a ton of sunscreen. I had a fake tan done before I left, which looked really good. And that's the secret to life. Get a spray tan. Don't actually get tan because actually getting a lot of sun causes skin damage later and you get like sunspots and you get skin cancer. So don't do that. Instead, just get a spray tan when you want to go to like Mexico. And then, but anyway, the pool has like full, they're coming by all the time. You want to drink. And remember, it's all inclusive. So it's like free, Now I'm so responsible as a person and I'm so freaking healthy that I am such a moderate drinker. And I will literally just like not drink sometimes. Like I'll just be like, no, not drinking today. So like on the first day, I didn't even drink because I was like, well, I have a lot of days coming by. And then that was like the night before the first show. And then that was Tuesday. So then Wednesday, I don't even know if I drank by the pool. Probably not. I was like, no, I'd like a Diet Coke, please, sir. Anyway, people were in the pool regardless. And then people were like, I don't know. People were just around. They were nice. Okay, so then here's me in my first outfit of the situation. So I wore a green neon dress, which I originally got for my birthday in Vegas earlier last year. And then I was like, oh, I'll pair it with the purple. For some reason, I really like the look of neon and purple. I think it's just like a cool color combo. So that was my night one. And then this is my friend Chelsea. She goes by Mama Sing Sing online. And this is my new friend Kelly. And they have both been into Phish for a long time. Kelly is a Gen X, and so she's been into Phish like since the 90s. And then Mama Sing Sing, she's just a few years younger than me, and she got into Phish in high school. And so she was going to shows back then. And so what we have in common of these three women is we're all moms. And so we all know what it's like to like balance being a mom, but then also wanting to do something for yourself. And so Kelly, her kids are older, so it's kind of like my situation where it's like they're older, and so it's easier to just leave now. But then Mama Sing Sing, her kids are really little. They're like 6, 5, and 3 or something, but she has a very supportive husband. And so she's like being like, I can be a mom and I can go to shows. And I think that was really nice that we share that in common. And then she's also has a pretty big online presence. And so we also have faced similar bullying online and mean comments from people. And it's just interesting. There's a lot of commonalities, even though she's been a follower of the band for a really long time and I'm new, so people call me newbie, or they think that I'm faking it, or they think that I'm not sincere, or they don't accept me. She's been around forever and they still like treat her like that anyway, so it just shows like there's an underlying misogyny. And so then I'm just like getting my content, it doesn't take that long. Like literally this is before the show starts, and it's like I get a 20-second video that I can use for all my social media, and it doesn't really bother anyone. All right, then the show started. Let's get the music back. Okay, so here we are. Some of these might take a while to load, but yes. Can you feel the symptoms? I like the moon was shining. The moon was shining. Da, 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 da. All right, let's look at where we are. Okay, so this is the first night. We had Stray Stranger, Moma Dance. Oh yeah, this was Sand. Ding, 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 ding. Back on the Train, Rogue Sand. It was a fun set. Sigma Oasis, You're Already There. It's a song I used to not like, and now it's kind of it's like catchy for me. Then they ended with the big Chalk Dust Torture. Everybody loves Chalk Dust Torture. It's just like a banger. Okay. Waves into Fuego. I've even gotten into Fuego. No Man in No Man's Land. I like that too. Oh yeah, Boogie on Reggae Woman. Boogie on Reggae Woman. That was so good. Backwards down the number line, and of course, Character Zero. It was like my 6th Character Zero in. That was my 17th show. So like it was like really high stats. Like 35% of all my shows have Character Zero and Chocolate Torture. Dogface Boy, and then Ghost as the encore. Okay, so let's continue here. Made of them. Okay, that was fun. You're already there. This is the Sigma Oasis I was just talking about. Already there. We're just having a good time. There's the Chalk Dust I just talked about. Big Chalk Dust ending. Yep. Okay, so that was good. I mean, they sounded really good. Okay, hold on. We gotta go back to the beginning. All right, so that was night 1. This is night 2. So these I edit later. So it's like out like night 2. I wore a red dress, and then later I put on. That was just me with eating. Okay, that's what the bar. Okay, so now let's talk about the venue. So inside the venue, in the back, they had like food vendors everywhere. There were also bars further up and like on the sides, but then there was like food in the back. This is where like you enter, the main people enter, and then back here is like picnic tables, and it's kind of like a state fair, but like there's like these stands everywhere, and there's like different foods like tacos, sliders, an Asian station. There's churros. But yeah, everyone's just kind of like, barbecue. Anyways, this is all in the back of the venue, like once you're in, and all this is all inclusive. Little Coachella features, like random dome, a banana art, whatever. Okay, so because we did the first entry, we always had like really good spots, and then they gave us blankets as our welcome gift, and so that's what we always put down. And then, this was like, there's my friends, and we're just chilling out before the music started. What's this? Big Prince Caspian. Okay, night 2. Let's go to night 2. We had gumbo. Oh, I really like gumbo. The gumbo. Nick Hugh. I don't know. Was that my first one? Let me pull up my personal stats as well. So Phish.net keeps track of my stats, like basically like all the songs I've heard and stuff like that, and other random facts like what's your most like common thing and all that. So let's see, my shows, my shows, yes, okay, and then stats. All right, all songs, here we go. So now we'll know how many. I got a lot of things that were like the first time. That looked like it was not my first NICU. Let's see. I've had 2. So that was my second NICU. So that was interesting. But there was a ton of things I got for the first time at this concert, like over the 4 days. and that you'll all see under the one time. It's like at the end here. Anything that's like one time, like for example, that dog face boy, that was my first of that. You'll see more things coming that were only one time that I got from this concert, but a lot of them were not my first time, actually. A lot of them were second time. Like, that was my second McGrep. I'll show you about the McGrep later. Okay. All right. So we get Gumbo, Nikki, Chris Prince Caspian, Oblivion, Brian Robert. That was a Trey on acoustic. Stash. Everyone loves Stash. Yama, yama, yama. Well, I love McGrep because it's like Gamehenge. And so it's like crazy. It's so good. And then Say It To Me, Santos. I think I have some videos from that. This is what space smells like. Okay, then we got A Wave of Hope into Ruby Waves. This was a really long segment. That was like almost like an hour long. In fact, I can always tell you exactly what happened, because if I go to here and I show you the music itself, see how A Wave of Hope is 21 minutes and 29 seconds, and then Ruby Waves is 28 minutes. So like that was like 50 minutes of just two songs. And then Lonely Trip's like a ballad, very pretty. And then we got a 16-minute What's Going Through Your Mind. I love that song. Okay, so let's see. Where does this all start? Shown Prince Caspian. Oh, to be Prince. Before I get a drink, we lie on frozen war dogs. It's poison in our minds, while the birds that spot our children are encased in orange rind. That's the McGrep. I loved it. All right, this is my What's Going Through Your Mind. But it soon got out of hand. I love this song. It's one of my theme songs. Also, look at this. There, 5 times. I've had this song 5 times. That's why I know it so well. I think you know. Also note, I put on white thigh highs because I brought them in case it got cold, and it did. So I added it, but I don't have like a proper picture of me in them. So good. Look at that. It's sick. It doesn't get better than that. All right, so here's me modeling my day 3 outfit. And I'm like, let me just do my random ballet moves. Okay, this was supposed to be like white night. So I was like, oh, I'll wear my white sparkly dress. That was for my birthday. And then I had my yam earrings that someone gave me the night before. She makes all sorts of cool earrings that say different Phish things. And then I had the glitter. I finally remembered the glitter by day 3. I was like, oh, wait, what about the glitter? So then the neon was cool because the black light, it always would glow at the concert. And I was like, oh, I'll bring my neon sunglasses. There's my friends. Those are the girls. They had the cool heart glasses. I have glasses like that, but mine are not hearts, and mine just say Surrender to the Flow, and they have the lizards on them. But I really want to make my own heart ones now because those are so cute, the heart glasses. But yes, I had I forget, I think on the second night I wore my Surrender to the Flow sunglasses. So I think this is just me modeling my dress. Of course, I had to put the pink sweatshirt on because it got cold. But it's like, this is in between songs, so I'm just like, is that set break or something? I'm like, film me. I got to get my content. All right, back to the music. Oh, we're on day 3. Hold on. All right, day 3. Blaze On. Bouncing around the room, Evolve, Wolfman's Brother, Tube, Water in the Sky, Free, Bathtub Gin. Okay, so that first set was like just a lot of like older Phish songs that people like, but are kind of like, people get annoyed that they do Blaze On so often. And then Bouncing Around the Room, people kind of hate now because it was overplayed at one point in the 90s. I don't mind it. They only do the like studio version. They don't jam it out or anything. It's just like, I awoke, to the chanting on the room. And then they just kind of move on with their life. Wolfman's Brother, I think they play it a lot too. It's not my favorite, but it's fun to dance to. I have no complaints. Free, everybody likes Free. Bathtub Gin is fun because it's very like ding 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 ding, and then Paige does all this like cool stuff on the piano. Oh, then we got our Karini second set opener. I love a Karini second set opener. Let's find it because I go crazy in it. Oh yeah, I went to the... Okay, so what happened is I went to the bathroom right during most events aren't planned, and so then I beat the line, and then I was definitely back before Karini started. And then when Karini started, I was like, yes. And here's how I reacted. Here we are. Everything's right. Not yet. I think it was a limit. This is first tube, but then a first tube, Trey does this with his guitar. It's pretty cool. It makes this effect, and then he like goes around. He becomes a rock star in this song. This was the night I got the drunkest for sure. Like I barely drank the first night, or maybe this, I don't remember. And then the last night I didn't drink at all. This was the night where like I was just like, yeah, but I was still like 100%. I still, even when I drink more than I usually do, I don't drink that much compared to a lot of people. So for me, it's like I have like one drink and I'm like, whoa, I'm so turned right now, you know? So, but yeah, Trey is just awesome. Life Beyond the Dream. Yeah, so that was a fun night. I just want to point out that one of the interesting things that I really like now, one of my favorite songs that I didn't expect to become a big fan of. Obviously, I love Karini. Light actually has really grown on me. Everything's right. Of course, I showed you that. Okay, Life Saving Gun. It actually totally rips. Like, listen to this. It went on for 19 minutes. Okay, then it goes on for 70 minutes. But the point is, those like percussion rinse solos that John Fishman does are like insane. insane. Like, you don't understand. Like, that song is so good. I never, like, when I first didn't, like, I remember someone gave me a percussion wristband sticker in, like, Hampton. I was like, what is this? And then I heard Life Saving Gun. And then I heard Life Saving Gun again. And I was like, this is a really good song. And then by like, this is like, what are my stats on Life Saving Gun? Let's see. Life Saving, 4 times now. Yeah, because I've heard it 4 times, it's now like a hit with me. Yeah, look, I have 5 Karinis. I love Karini, and I will take so many more of them. But yes, you can see what my like high stats are on. It's like Chalk Dust, Character Zero, First Two, Mike's Song, No Man in No Man's Land, No Man in No Man's Land, Ruby Waves, Weep Grew, of course, Life Beyond the Dream, I Can See. Oh, Karini, Harry Hood, Give It to Me, Simple. I love Simple. Ding, 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 Tweezer, What's Going Through Your Mind. So many good things. All of my 5 and 4 time songs are like my favorites. I have 4 Rebas. Wow. I'm so lucky. Punch in the Eye 4 times. Say It to Me, Santos. How do I have 4 of them? Oh, yeah. Because I got one in New York, Chicago. Oh, yeah. Austin. Yep. I'm at 4 Say It to Me, Santos. That's crazy. Anyway, that was such a fun night. Then this is what the after parties were like every single night. I didn't really stay for long ever in the after party. Sometimes I'd sit in the lobby and like go on my phone a little bit before I went to bed. But yeah, that was basically like every night. So far, I'd say that Phish Mexico is pretty cool. And I can't believe that I'm all here within about 9 months of seeing my first Phish show ever. And tonight was my 19th show since April, and I will be at 20 shows tomorrow night, God willing. So I can't believe it. I'm so thankful. And these are like my friends that I've met at a lot of shows. He's like a rail rider guy, him and his wife, they're really cool. They go to everything. They were in New York. I saw them in Chicago. Like I see that you keep seeing the same people. And he has like, he posts a ton on his Instagram. So he's always, if he sees me, always takes a photo. He takes a photo of everybody he knows. So I'm not special. That's my friend Rose. That's her other friend. I forgot her name, but I was on the rail with her in Madison Square Garden. So like, I just keep running into the same people. These are the friends I was with most nights. Like, you know, like I said, and this girl's Megan. And there's this other guy, I forget his name, but he lives in California actually. So we'll cross paths, I'm sure. And my other girls. And then okay, on the 4th night, they started early. They started at 6:30 p.m. So we got the, daytime concert until the sun went down. Okay, Mike's Song, Haley's Comment. Weekapaw Groove, Julius. Let's see. Was that my first Haley's Comment? It was my second Haley's Comment. I knew it wasn't that comment. I mean, I had only seen it like once or twice. So yeah, that was cool. Okay. Julius, that was not my first Julius. That was my second Julius. So yeah, I got a lot of cool songs that are good that were like my second time. My friend, that was my third my friend. And I saw it in Hampton. I saw it in New York City and now there. Okay, interestingly, now Mole. Okay. I originally, if you remember, back to the very beginning, the origin of this reaction channel is Mole. Hello. Okay. And my very first reaction video was to Mole. And I didn't even know that this was like a song with like... it's really hard to sing and play at the same time. I was like, why is he such a bad singer? I didn't know that Mike Gordon wasn't the singer. I didn't know anything. And I was like, what is this song? But the point is, this was the first song I listened to. Look, 9/25/2024. See? And so that was like the first Phish song I ever heard. And so it was just funny that at my 20th show, I finally got my Mole, okay? Mole it over. It's actually not so bad of a song. I was like, oh, it's kind of... I get it. And then this Vultures is really rare. I got Vultures. Everyone's like, oh my God. And like the girls were so happy for me. They're like, is this your first Vultures? I'm like, yeah, They're like, oh my God, you got Vultures, okay? And then everybody loves 2001, which is actually Also sprach Zarathustra, which is the name of the, 2001 Space Odyssey, but they call it 2001 because no one wants to say the other name. That was good. Drift while you're sleeping. That was interesting. Okay, the second set here was a really long jam from A Song I Heard in the Ocean to Beneath the Sea of Stars, Part 1. Oh, I know what I want to show you guys. Let's look at let's see. I actually think you'll be able to see me in a lot of these videos because they published a lot of these online. And every time they show an audience shot, like on the various night, I could see myself on the thing. So let's see if they show any like audience shots. Let's see if I can see myself. You should be able to see me from this perspective. Yeah, I just see myself on the monitor all the time, but it just depends on. Oh, wait. Let's see. Yeah, I saw myself. What I would do is, oh, there's my hand. See this right here? This pink sweatshirt and that neon thing? That is me. That is my hand. Let's see if they panned. There I am. You can see me right here. Bottom right. Or see me? Right there. Bottom right. Right here. Right next to the live Phish logo. There I am. So I was able to spot myself on the cameras like all the time. Anyway, so good. Let's see what else they put up. A Wave of Hope into... Oh yeah, this was that set 2 opener I was just showing you about. It was like really long. They kept the lights really low on that. You probably wouldn't be able to see me. Okay, Wave of Hope for sure. Let's see. You gotta look at the audience when there's like... But because I had the glow in the dark hand thing and I had a flashing light, I started I would just like move my hand in a different rhythm and then I'd see myself on the camera. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, I was in a lot of these. But I was over here for this. Wow, they put up a lot of videos from the show. That's great. I love that. Wow. That's cool. So they put up some of the stuff from the show. Great. Anyway, so I'm in some of those. If anyone has the full broadcast, you'll see me in it. Just look for my pink sweatshirt generally, or I have my glowy thing. But where are we here? We're still on the 4th night. All right, so I got Mole. That's me saying Mole. It's pretty rare. Run away. Run away, run away, run away. Anyway, after that huge jam, okay, then I got my first meat stick. I was really excited. I remember I had the meat stick. I left it over in a different room right now, so I'm not going to get it. But I had the meat stick bracelet that said meat stick, and it was pink. Look how excited I am. By the way, I'm wearing my blanket because on the 4th night, it was windy. It was cold. So I basically like wore my blanket. I just tied it over myself. Every time we say goodbye, say goodbye. A pain I can't identify. lost my brain. Whoa. Picture. Golden Age, my new favorite song. A wave of miracles. Love and Cup, encore. How many loving cups do I have? Oh, it's my first loving cup. Okay, that's cool too. Waves was my first one from this concert. Harry Hood, my favorite song. Harry Hood's so good. I can feel good about her. Here's my outfit. All right. So anyway, so that was the last show. So yeah, it went by really fast because pretty much all I did was like go to shows, sleep, eat, go to shows again. I did not do pickleball. I did not I got a massage one day. That was like the main thing I did. That was outside of like going to shows and waiting in line. and sitting. But honestly, that was great. Like I didn't need to do anything else. And also if the weather had been hotter, I probably would have been like, oh, I'll sit by the pool more and I would have swam. But I've already done everything in Cancun because I've been to Cancun multiple times. So I've done the cave diving, the cave snorkeling, the Mayan ruins. I think it's Mayan, the Mayan ruins. Um, I've been to Playa del Carmen. I've been to Cozumel. I've done all those things. So like for me, I didn't need to like leave the resort and like experience Mexico. I was just there to see fish, basically. The main thing you need to bring is an extension cord because they barely had any outlets in the room. And so I had the extension cord that had like plugs and it had USBs so that I could like charge all my stuff. So I'd recommend that. Other than that, they have a really good blow dryer. They even have a flat iron in the room for the hair. You can order room service. Everything took a little longer than I thought. So like if you ordered room service, it would take like a full hour to come, even if you ordered it for the day the next day. But then like when it came, like I ordered like a 9:30 a.m. room service one day and then like the food was cold. So it's like it's okay. Like don't expect like a luxury experience. Like if you're used to like American five-star hotels, this is like, it's Mexico. It's like things go a little slower down there. There's less urgency in general. The service is good, but I'm just saying it's not like, the food might be a little cold or the food might not be like really great. Like it's gonna be like mediocre to good, not like, oh my God, that was the best like omelet I've ever had. It's like gonna be good. It's like I found like the fajitas were the best thing, I think, on the room service menu. The steak was good, the beef burger was good. I didn't think like the other things were like that amazing. So it's fine, but I wasn't there to eat. I wasn't there. I was just there to see fish. So like given all of that, I still think it was a good value. It is a bit of a pricey trip, but considering you get all your food included, all your drinks included. Like I'm not a big drinker, but if I was a big drinker, I would have been like, oh my God, I saved so much money on alcohol. We just tipped $1 a lot, which is a lot of money to the workers there, and they're so appreciative. But for us, it's like not that much to give $1 every time you get a drink or someone drives you somewhere or whatever. These would be my critiques. When I was leaving, it was a little bit disorganized. I called for the guy to take my luggage and I didn't realize it would take like an hour for my luggage to get from my room to the expo center. If I had known that, I would have just carried it down the stairs by myself. It was only 2 flights of stairs, and I would have just started rolling towards the expo center. And then a guy took me on a golf cart anyway. So if I had known that there was going to be golf carts offer me a ride, I would have just carried my own luggage over because I got a little nervous at the end because I was trying to fly standby on an earlier flight. And because the luggage like was 30 minutes later than expected, I got a little nervous at the end. And then finally the luggage showed up and I was kind of like, okay, that was annoying. So next time I am not going to have the bellhop take my luggage. I'm just going to carry it myself because I just don't think it's reliable and I'm too much of a controlled person. You could also take your own Uber if you wanted to, but the bus transportation was included. The other thing that's very not cool, but it's like whatever, this isn't my first rodeo, is as you're leaving, they make you get a exit ticket to make sure that you've paid your bill, whatever, if you have any X incidentals. And so, they give you a ticket to be able to like exit and like ride the bus, whatever. You could just take an Uber and leave, by the way, but whatever. They then give you this like really intense sales pitch, like a timeshare, basically. It's almost like a timeshare sales pitch. And the guy's like, if you just put down $300 today, you can come back to any of our resorts for like 50% off, da da da. The deal didn't even make sense to me. It was like any of our properties anywhere, like Dominican Republic or like Cabo, whatever. He was trying to like explain how it was like discounted and you can come back. I'm like, how does putting down $300 help? Like it just didn't make sense. Plus, I hate doing stuff like that. So you have to use it within 2 years. And I wasn't sure how much that applied and how much it would actually be. I don't know. I was just like, I'm not putting down money. But I had to be really, really strong. And by the way, they had the most eloquent people in this job. The most educated, like eloquent English speaker, college educated probably person was the person on the sales pitch for this. Like this is like the highest, like these are the closers. Okay, these are the smooth talking, educated, very like, like these. So they're like, this sales guy is like putting on this sale like really, really like intensely. And I had to be like, no, like 5 times. I had to be like, no, I'm not interested. No, I'm not buying it today. No matter what. Like I had to be like, because he kept insisting. And I was like, no. So I'm just saying, be aware for that. Like you can't be someone who can't say no to things because they will literally like, they are eloquent. These are like the equivalent of like, the people who work in medical pharma sales in America, like the really good looking, they're always like some very attractive blonde woman or ex Abercrombie model like person. That's literally who they have on this sales job. That's what I'm saying. It's like they are professionals. Okay. They are good at what they do versus like the very nice people who like take your drink and they're just like happy and like they're not trying to like like pressure you to buy something. You know what I mean? Like I was just not, it was just interesting. So just be aware of that because I was like, that's interesting. And I was leaving alone, like as a woman. And so he's like, oh, you could come back. You could take your kids. Da, 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 da. I'm like, no, I don't want that. And I did like literally say no like 7 times. Um, and then even when he's like, oh, but it's so cheap. How could you say no? I'm like, don't worry. I have money. I'll be able to pay full price if I want to. You know what I mean? Even then, but you know, it's like no matter what I said, he had to have an answer to it. So be aware of that. Like they will do a sales pitch to try to get you to put down money so that you have to come back another time, or but maybe you won't come back another time, and then they just take your $300 and you never get it back. So I'm sure they would have taken $50. Like I'm sure if I had negotiated and been like, actually, I'll only put down $50 to secure the deal, I'm sure they would have done it. I just didn't think I was going to come back. I wouldn't really go to this. Like, would I go to this resort if it wasn't for Phish being there? No, I would not. I would rather go to like what I like to do in Mexico is stay in Playa del Carmen, which is where the Mexicans vacation. So like people from like Mexico City, they don't go to Cancun, they go to Playa del Carmen, or they go to Isla Mujeres, which I've been to also. That's where the non-Americans travel, okay? I would not want to go to the Moon Palace if it wasn't for Phish, because I'd rather go to Playa del Carmen where you get a much cheaper hotel. You're in a very central downtown area where there's like tons of restaurants, there's tons of beaches, there's tons of clubs and different entertainment and salsa bars and EDM and like reggaeton and all that. And then the food is so cheap there that you can just go to restaurants. It's going to be cheaper to stay in Playa del Carmen and then eat out at restaurants than it would be to go to the Moon Palace and to eat the mediocre food. Okay. But it's still worth it because you're getting 4 nights of Phish. You're getting a VIP Phish experience. There's not that many people. The lines are shorter. You get a really good spot if you want to. There's no bad spot in the whole place. There's like, no matter where you are there, you can watch it from the beach if you wanted to. You could have your feet in the sand. The point is there's no bad spot. The drinks are free. They have waiters bringing you drinks inside the venue. So like while you don't even have to go to the bar. They walk through and they will bring you drinks and you can tip them. And then they're like even more attentive. And then there's people picking up trash for you. Like it is the most luxurious thing. Whereas like, you know, when we're at Hampton, we're like barely can even get to a bathroom. You can't even buy alcohol. Hampton like sold out. There was no food. Like you had to buy like pretzels or something. Like it was the lines to get in were terrible. The security, like this was like luxury compared to like the overall experience of going to like Hampton, for example. Whereas Madison Square Garden was like, it's a very organized venue. Madison Square Garden has good food. Madison Square Garden has good bartenders. Madison Square Garden's in New York City. So you can like go to all these bars before you go in even. There's like the sweet thing with the Chase, you know, credit card and all that. But Hampton, for example, which is a very like bad venue. And I've never been to these like outdoor amphitheater venues around the country, but I'm sure some of them are like rustic and camping-esque and you have to like rough it out there. This is like the opposite. This is like luxury. And then at the end of the night, you just walk back to your hotel room if they want to, or you can just go to the pool and party all night, which I did not do because I'm not a party animal. And I just went for a little bit and then I went, you know, I don't like it when it gets too rowdy, you know, and also it's all inclusive. So people are drinking so much, they could be really rowdy and I don't want to be around that. But it could be whatever you want it. It could be a total rager. You could stay up all night and sleep all day, or you could get up early and golf and show up at the concert at 7:52 and then have a pretty decent spot, or stand it back by the food and just eat the whole time. You could just focus on meeting friends and going to activities, sitting by the pool, talking to people, or you could be completely isolationist, not talk to anybody. I went up to like a couple from like Illinois on the first night at this like party, and they were like, they were obviously very introverted, and they were like, you know, it was like the Homer Simpson. Like when I started talking to them at first, like the wife was like so nervous that she like didn't even like respond, and then the husband kind of responded, and then later she like warmed up to me and was like okay talking to me. But you could tell like they were not people that like to like socialize, so they just come to hear the band and they just like do it as like a little couples vacation. They're not like meeting other people, and they don't even stay in Sunrise. They stay in Nizuc, which is like a little bit away but not all the way to the Grand, so that they can like get away from it all. It's like, so whatever you want you can get. Like if you want to be in the action, we were even on the side of Sunrise that was not on the venue side, so it was very quiet and over where I was. But there were rooms that were like literally next to the venue. So if like you wanted to be in the freaking party, you could be. So if I went back, would I go over there? Probably not, because I don't know, it was nice to kind of go to my own little area though. However, my little area of Sunrise had its own little private pool for some reason, like in between two buildings, and people were partying there during the day. And so I luckily, like honestly, if I put on The Sound of Rain on my phone and like white noise, I couldn't hear them anyway. I didn't have to put in earplugs or anything. It wasn't ever that loud. But it was definitely like people are it's like a party, okay? So it could be like a 4-day party, 5-day party if you want it to be. It could also be like a luxurious getaway. If you're a couple, you stay in the Grand, you take the golf cart over, you show up last minute, you maybe just kind of like go center towards the sound booth or sides, like sound booth sides. You're gonna have tons of space back there. You're not going to have any problems. You can even like stand over by the ocean if you want to be a little off center. There's like the spinner section, which was like the lawn to the sides, far sides. But, you know, there's a lot of space to dance over there. Most of the bathrooms were Porta-Potties, but they were nicer than our Porta-Potties because like they kind of flushed, or they had like a fake flush thing where like you couldn't see the pit. It was like didn't smell as bad as like American Porta-Potties, and you couldn't see, and they were cleaning them actually. So like, and there was toilet paper and there's people servicing them, and they had like the mobile sinks, whatever. And then the very, 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 very back beyond these other good, better Porta-Potties, which flushed, there was actual bathrooms, but there was only like 7 stalls. So if you wanted to, you could walk all the way. Maybe so, maybe not. You could walk all the way to the back and then use those bathrooms. So it just depended. And the food was good. My favorite thing was the churros, actually. And I would like get like 4 churros. They were like these circular ones. And then I'd be like, 4 churros in una bolsa, please. And she's like, okay. She's like, you want one? Because like they usually put 1 or 2 churros in a bag. I'm like, no, give me 4 churros, but in 1 bag. And she's like, okay. So I'm like, I don't know why I just didn't take 2 and 2. But the point is, I was like, I want 4 churros in 1 bag. And then I would just like eat my churros out of my little bag during the show. So that was fun. But yeah, they have everything. The alcohol, I think, in the venue is better. I don't know. They had Patron. I just try to drink tequila in Mexico because it's like win in Rome. They tend to have good tequilas in Mexico, but you may not get the best rum or whiskey or vodka, you know, like if you're a vodka snob. Like they had like Grey Goose, but some people are vodka snobs and they want something even better than that, or they want like a certain whiskey, you know. For some people, Jack Daniels isn't good enough for them, right? So, but I think Patron's pretty good. In America, I drink Casamigos Blanco personally, but yeah, I had like the cava was okay. Like, you know, they had like sparkling wine. It was like cava from Spain. It was fine. Was it champagne? No, it was good though. It was fine. It wasn't like terrible. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is terrible cava. They had like red wine. They give you a bottle of wine when you check in. It was my friend's birthday, so they gave like a bottle of like cava. You know, I think it's like a pretty, I mean, like they're nice and the hotel's very generous. And if you ask for anything, they're very, you know, I think it's pretty good. And the staff is really great. Like I'd say the staff is super, super, super nice, kind, attentive, polite, really, really sweet. It was funny. Yeah. Anyway, so like so I liked it. But again, if I was going to go to Cancun and not for Phish, I'd probably not stay at the Moon Palace. I'd stay somewhere else, either at a nicer resort if I was going to do the resort thing. But I don't even like resorts. I like to stay in cities. I like to stay in like Playa del Carmen and like stay with the Mexican people, like from other places that come to Cancun to vacation, not where the Americans stay in the big hotels in Cancun. So that's just me. That's just how I travel. But some people like that whole like, you know, hotels made for Americans in other countries kind of thing. But yes, I would go back, and I would prefer, the only thing I'd say is I want the weather to be warmer. If the weather was warmer, it would have been chef's kiss. And if I had been, I always wore tights with these outfits, so I wasn't as cold, but I wasn't cold except for the last night when the wind was blowing. The other nights with my sweatshirt on, if I got a little chilly, I was okay. And once I was dancing, I often took my sweatshirt off. So it just, if it had been like hot, I would have been like no tights, no sweatshirt, just like completely dancing. But that's my summary. I'd say the music was great. I can't wait to re-listen to all the shows. Slave to the Traffic. Yeah, the Harry hood. That was good. We needed that hood. I feel good about it. I got a lot of things. I got my first meat stick. I met friends. It was good to see all the rail rider people that I know, that I've been getting to know all these years, 9 months. And then I guess just to reflect on, people ask me like, what was your favorite show, or what has been your favorite venue? How would you compare it to other things? Um, my first show was San Francisco, April 22nd, 2025. Those two shows will always be very important for me. They were like my first shows. Austin was nice because it was summer. It was very hot. I like how Austin was hot. So at night it was hot. The Moody Center was a really nice venue, like tons of good bathrooms, a lot of bars. Moody Center is really well built. So I thought it was a very good venue for a show. Those shows were nice. And the floor wasn't crowded in Moody Center because it's so large. So I liked that a lot. Chicago United Center, it felt the most like real. Like I felt like, it's older. There aren't enough bathrooms. I had a bartender that was my guy, so I never had a line at that bartender. The people on the floor in Chicago were really nice. The Chicago people are just generally nicer because they're like Midwest people. The shows in Chicago were really good. Like the Setlist in Chicago, that's where I got my megaphone fee. I'll never forget that. So that was great. Forest Hills was the only other outdoor show I've ever been to. So that was the only thing I could compare, by the way, because I kept being like, oh, well, in Forest Hills. And then my friend's like, why do you keep comparing this to Forest Hills? I'm like, because Forest Hills is the only other outdoor show I've been to. And he's like, oh, that makes sense now. So Forest Hills, crowded, amphitheatric outdoor venue, whatever it's called, stadium. Like, Riviera Maya was like way more comfortable than that. However, I liked Forest Hills because it's in a city. I love cities. I love urban stuff. Like you're in Queens, you just get off the train and then you just go into the freaking Forest Hills Stadium. Then you take the subway back. I love that. I love urban stuff. I just do. And I love the people because it was like New Yorkers at Forest Hills. It was like a good vibe. It was a lot of fun. So, and the weather was so hot. I love hot weather. I had my fan out. I was like in my tube top and my tennis skirt. I love Forest Hills. Hampton was just, I had to go, but Hampton was probably the worst venue, the worst facilities, the worst everything, the worst bathrooms, the worst bar menu, the worst food menu. Just everything about Hampton was difficult. Like, luckily I found this like house that was like mediocre, but only 10 minutes from the venue. Hampton was cheap though. Like the food was really cheap down there. I got to try Southern breakfast. The people were kind of mean by the third night of Hampton, like on the floor. They wouldn't even let me stand anywhere. They're like, you can't be here. Da, da, da. And I wasn't even trying to go that far up front. Like I was like, I don't know, a third back to 2/5 back, whatever. And they were like, you can't be up here. Da, da. I'm like, we're holding space for like 7 friends in the bathroom. I'm like, what? There was like nowhere to stand in Hampton. It was like really stressful. Whereas like at Mexico, there's so many places to stand and you could probably squeeze in places without people being too upset. Just as long as you don't go within the first 10 rows. You can't just, don't be a dick. Like the people who came out there and tarped 2 hours early, you can't just go to the first 10 rows. You can go to the 10 through 20th row. Those people won't care as much because they probably got there at like 7:30. But you can't just go to like the 3rd row and try to like sneak in last minute. That's just like not cool. Like I've learned the rules of the rail now. And then Madison Square Garden. I mean, honestly, Madison Square Garden was a really good venue. I'd say way better built than the Chicago Bulls Stadium. And so yeah, I'd say Madison Square Garden was, and those 4 shows were so good. That was my first time I did a 4-night run. So I'd say I can only compare Mexico to that in that they're the only 4-night runs I've been to versus like 3-night runs like Chicago, Hampton. 2 nights are easy now. I'm like, 2 nights, easy. 2 nights San Francisco, 2 nights Austin, 2 nights Forest Hills, nothing. Like that's easy. Okay. 3 nights it's like, okay. And 4 nights you got to know how to do it. But now I can do it. So I'm very proud. But yes, it's easy to do. The weather in Mexico makes it easier to do that than like New York City, where I was like wearing 5 coats and scarves and hats. And then I had to like bring a plastic bag to put my clothes in on the floor. But New York's cool just because there's tons of like restaurants and stuff going on. There are after parties and all these other bands playing. So yeah, I don't know. I can't really say one is my favorite. I'd say every experience is unique and every Phish set is different. So like the songs, it could either be like a set list of all bangers, or it could be a 2 or 3 or 4 song set that just goes on into these long type 2 jams for like an hour. And you're like, whoa, where am I right now? And the lights just kind of go crazy. So you can't really I can't say one is better or this or that. I mean, there's moments where I was like, oh my God, I love that song so much, but I'm pretty much having a good time all the time at every single show. So But this was fun because I had like friends and it was just nice. So I'd say if I can afford to and I have the time and it doesn't conflict with my work or my kids' calendar next year, I would go. My kids were even like, we want to go. That sounds so fun. I was like, well, if it doesn't conflict with school stuff, I'd be happy to take you. There are plenty of kids there. There were lots of little kids, and then there was like teenagers, and I saw like apparently kids come every year and they know each other because like their parents have been taking them for years, and they were all hanging out together. And some people were hanging out with their parents, but I also saw kids hanging out with each other, like tweens and teens, just kind of like hanging out on the side. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. And there's like kids activities at the resort. There's like a kids club, and there's tons of teen activities. And then there's like an arcade. There's tons of stuff for kids to do. So like, yes, if you're like want an all-inclusive resort with babysitting, the Moon Palace is probably great. For where my kids are in life, I like to take them to like, Japan, and then we travel around and stay in hotels and do like walking, like just cultural stuff all day. That's more my type of trip than typically going to a resort. But like I said, I would do it to see Phish, but I'm not just going to go there not to see Phish. And I think if I wasn't there to see Phish, I would have been a little boring just going to restaurants every night and just doing the on-site entertainment. Like, oh, let's listen to this lobby band. Like, it's not enough for me. That's like a cruise ship. So yeah, this is my very detailed review. If you have any questions, let me know. I might have forgotten tons of stuff, so just let me know if there was any questions you had. And then and on the plane home, I got to sit back next to other people who live kind of near me, and some of them knew who I was and some of them didn't. And then anyway, I will see you guys soon, and I hope you enjoyed this very thorough review of Phish Mexico 2026. And it was so fun to meet so many of you there, and it was so overwhelming. And I didn't even go to the Great Sticker Exchange. There was like a sticker exchange one day, and I was like, I can't even handle it. It's like too much. I just need to like decompress in my room and get ready for the next show. All right, bye.